Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandrago's Cave. Today we are gonna be talking about how to draw bodies, but this time a little bit transformed, like monsters, like some kind of cartoonized aspect, some kind of animalistic aspect as well. So I wanna explore and I wanna explain to you how from the previous video of how to draw bodies that we have seen here in this playlist. In this playlist that I'm putting there, we have plenty of videos already about learning the basic things regarding drawing. Some videos that art beginner person can watch, can learn a little bit. Doesn't matter if you are 5, 6, 7, 70 years old, you can watch those videos and it's gonna help you to create an idea, a basic idea of how this works. For all of you who thought, oh, I could never draw anything, or never in my life I was able to do anything like this, let's debunk that and let's gonna try to draw something here. Okay, so if you watched that previous video, okay, so we have, I'm gonna be drawing here and there a little bit. So let's see that we start, for example, here. We have this kind of puppet that I call it, like some sort of puppet, okay, where we have the how to draw a face. This is I'm drawing very tiny because it's going to be a very tiny thing. How to draw a face, and then we have the concept of how to draw a body, to simplify like this, okay. That would be the hands. This is to simplify, okay. And then we talked a little bit in that video as well about the size of a standard design for a human character. Doesn't matter if it is male or female, is this rule called the rule of the 8 heads, okay? So if you basically take this size of the head, okay, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heads will be more or less the standard type of size for a human if you want to do something more realistic, okay? And as I said, female, male, doesn't matter, it always follows the same pattern. With the rule of the 8 heads, for example, if you are trying to draw a kid, the kid obviously is shorter, and the skull and the eyes are two parts of the bodies that grow. They don't grow much, okay, since from being a kid to adulthood. So you will have probably a smaller size body, and probably the head is a little bigger, and then everything is gonna be shorter here, and then you can do a kid depending on the age that you want to see. But obviously here I done it a little bit bigger so you can see the difference. But in reality, comparison for this, it will be the same size more or less, and then the body is a little bit smaller. So what I want to explain today is we watch movies, live action movies with real people, and obviously everyone looks the same. Then we see other type of, let's say, actors doing maybe fighting roles or fantasy roles, and then we go into the world of fantasy as a concept and cartoon as a concept, where all the characters have 1,000 different type of shapes, okay? So I'm gonna try to explain you that, how it works. The other day in the expressions video, seeing the expressions of the face, we talked a little bit about this, but basically, let's say that I want to draw a monster, something that is strong, something that is scary, maybe something that is like a tank, like bulky. So then I can transform, I can modify like a elastic way, talking in an elastic way, these parts of the bodies. We have here the base, okay, and then I'm gonna say, okay, so my character, because I want to do this monster, I'm gonna make like the torso. The torso is gonna be like a big chunk of a square, for example, okay, and then because I want to focus in the strength that this character is gonna have with the arms, for example, like a gorilla. In my mind, I am thinking of references. So my character, how it's gonna be looking like as well. At the same time, in that playlist, there is a video about brainstorming. In that brainstorming process, that is very easy and very quick to do, I explained it there as well. I'm going to put it here individual because it's going to be very helpful for this one. You will put together different words, and that word, for example, can be bulky for this, strong, it can be gorilla, it can be a square shape, and then from here we will be starting following the same pattern. Okay, we do the triangle, we do maybe the legs here a little bit smaller, okay, something like this, for example, okay, and then the arms, if we want the guy to be strong, for example, we can play with this concept to do the shoulders are bigger, the arms are gonna be maybe bigger as well, okay. And as we go designing the whole character in this other size, you see that all the proportions are being exaggerated, okay? That is something very easy that you can play and you can emphasize. So I'm gonna focus in the torso being big, or I'm gonna focus only in one arm being big, like, for example, Hellboy. Hellboy, because the character development that he has, the character background and the story that he has, the brainstorm from before is that this is a demon, this is a character that the arm is gonna be, one of the arms is gonna be more chunky, I would say, is bigger, like a cylinder around the arm, and that has a reason. That is not randomly. He's not gonna be a writer, he's not gonna be an office worker, he's gonna be someone that is gonna use that different part of the body, this modification in the body, okay, to open a gate, basically the gates of hell. So he's gonna put the arm inside this keyhole so he can open this gate. So all of this, when you are creating your characters, is the same basically. Okay, so we said a little bit like gorilla-like. So I love to draw characters like in this shape, but as you can see, we play with the same pattern. We said squares, no? But maybe I want to follow the concept of squares, because maybe this guy is gonna be some sort of Frankenstein at the end of the day, that it has, you know, all these quirky parts to him, depending on how it's gonna be the character, okay? And I am cartoonizing, okay, beyond the reality of what I see, of what I wanna see, my character. I'm doing here something that if you are watching the newest Guillermo del Toro movie, Frankenstein, that Frankenstein is more human looking. That is more like a person. They used the actor, they covered him with makeup, doing, you know, there are makeup artists working in movies, in films, you know, in TV series as well, that they will make the person, the actor, look like monster with all these things around. But there are other Frankensteins. For example, the Frankenstein in Van Helsing, that if you look at this drawing, this is the type of cartoonization that you see in that character, for example, or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde as well in Van Helsing. Okay, so there are characters. This is Van Helsing from 2000s, from 2000, yeah, and Hugh Jackman is Van Helsing in that story. So 100% recommendation. At some point I will do a drawing about him as well. But so you can see, okay, let's say we are doing this bulky gorilla-like character that is gonna end up being squares, some circles, big pieces of arms and everything, and he's gonna be my Frankenstein, okay? Hotel Transylvania, cartoonized, characters created, but Studio Gran Hell. Studio Gran Hell is a studio in Barcelona, in Spain, and they do this type of work. They will create characters for your needs. So I need monsters, I need a werewolf, I need a vampire, but the vampire is gonna be like this, the werewolf is gonna be like that, the mummy is gonna be on her way. And when you are doing character design, when you are starting this journey of learning how to draw, you can explore all these sizes to create the characters and on your own style as well, okay? So as you go doing all these activities from this playlist, you can just copy-paste, yes, but as you go, you can focus more in cartoon, like I like to do cartoon. You can focus more in realism, in hyper-realism. You can try to find any kind of style that you are more comfortable or you enjoy the most. You can go for photo bashing, putting images together to create your characters or your backgrounds. You can create as well things like collages, basically. So, but as you can see, let's say, for example, Monsters Inc. Sully, okay, that this is the big guy, the hairy guy. It is something similar. We have a Sully that is like this. He is as well like a tank. He has big arms like that. He has very tiny legs like this. Okay, and then he has the tail. I think he has a long tail as well like this, because we are talking about modification of the bodies. This Sully character, that is a monster, he is looking like a human in terms of like he could be like a Yeti, a Bigfoot, but in blue colors, in green colors, okay? And then we have the big head that is coming through here, the tiny horns. Obviously, I don't have any image of him reference to see, but we get the idea of it, okay? So the plasticine concept is something important here. You need to think like you are seeing the character in a way that you can stretch and squash, modify all these pieces, change these pieces, like chewing gum, basically. Feel free to ask any kind of question in the comment section down below. If you don't understand something, I can type it in the comments and explain it a little bit better if you need. You can slow the video. I think here there is a engine type of icon that you can click there and put the video maybe instead of 1 speed, you can put it maybe 0.5, 0.75, so it goes slower, so you can actually see these details a little bit better. But so you understand all of these concepts, and it's the same, is the head that we learn how to do the heads in the playlist, basically. Instead of doing a circle, here we are doing a square. Within another square, we are doing the cross to do the eyes of Sully, and then the mouth, and then the nose, okay? And then it is going to be the hair, the fur. The arms are the same concept that we have used here, the shoulder, here bigger, because the character, we want bigger arms here, okay? So all the parts of the arms are going to be a little bit bigger. And then here the hands are going to be ginormous as well, because this is a monster. You need to see what the information that is given to you by the art director, by the director of the movie, or by the creative director. So the people who is kind of deciding how the character is going to look at the end, they will give you some information. But for you, that you learn on your own, to do activities like this is very useful, okay? So as you can see, we have some sort of Sully here, and then as well, very important is the mood of the character, okay? If you like Pixar movies, like we're talking about Disney a little bit, about Pixar a little bit, Monsters Inc. is a Pixar movie as well. Let's carry on a little bit on the topic. Let's say Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles, okay? So when we learn about Mr. Incredible, at the beginning of the story and everything, he's, oh my god, he's super cool, he's like this very big superhero, stereotype of hero like this. They draw him, if you think about these like shapes, he's like a bean, okay, like a cylinder like this. He has very short legs as well, but always thinking about the hero concept, okay? He is very royal like this. Like if you draw a king, for example, as well, you may cartoonized king, you may go for something like this as well, where the chest is very big, he's very proud of himself, he's very strong, okay? So his superpower is strength here, so we focus in the torso, in the upper part of the body, to make him strong, okay? And then the head as well, square type of face like this. Obviously this is not accurate, obviously, but you know what I mean, okay? Something like this, okay? And we are getting a Mr. Incredible here. But what happens during the story? During the story, he gets married to the wife, they have kids, he starts working in a office work, and you see the tones of the movie, that's very important as well. Another day we will talk about color. The tones of the movie go more gray, more pale, more sad, okay? So he goes into sadness, so he's abandoning himself a little bit, and like a lot of people who do a lot of gym and sports and things and regarding, you know, muscles, when you don't train the upper body, all of this ends up being in the belly, so you are a little bit more fat in the belly, okay? And that's in this movie represented in a way that the heavy weight of the character that it was in the torso, this hero concept, then Mr. Incredible has it then here. So the other design that we see of him at the beginning, I'm gonna draw it here, is small, is more in the sense of the circle that we use for the top is more at the bottom, and he is more like this, okay? So he's more like this, and the legs, and he's very sad. Even if he has like a very big back, because he's strong still, you see how the weight went a little bit down, and his head went down, his shoulders are down as well, you know, he will be walking like this, like he's very sad. He can't fit in his car, so all is about as well the line of action. So if you think about it in frontal, we're seeing him from the front like this, but if you see from the side, he will be something like this, okay? So where the head is here, the thing is like this, and he is, you know, he's walking like this, he's like, oh my god, I'm very sad, like this, you know, I'm working in this place, in this office that I don't like, I'm very thingy, I want to be a superhero, in secret I'm doing some superhero things, so he's dissatisfied with the story that he's having. Let me move this a little bit up, so as you can see there, no? Okay, so obviously, again, this is not accurate, this is just me trying to simplify this so you can understand it, okay? And what happens when he starts doing the new missions, he starts, you know, getting involved more in superhero stuff, things that he was doing before getting married, things that they were feeling him, okay, feeling his emotional state. So what happens again is that once again he is in this triangle or diamond shape, okay, that we see, the superhero type of a character, like he's strong again, he's, you know, up again, because the mood of the character has changed. That is very important, as I was saying before. So the character, depending on the story of the character or what is happening with the character in the story, you can play with the design. That doesn't mean that my design is gonna change completely, but it's morphing, it's changing into what I need. Okay, the plasticine concept is very important. Like when we are watching Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald, all of these guys that are very cartoon, okay, humanized animals. This is anthropomorphic animals. That means that they are animals behaving like humans, or they have clothes, they talk, they move around. So this is very important as well, because for example, Goofy, that is a goofy character, he's moving around, he's jumping, he's dancing, and he is like a elastic band. He's like chewing gum. He's moving, rolling around, you know, very goofy. So that in cartoon, it gives you a lot of game to develop characters and to develop ideas. Again, if there is any kind of question that you may have regarding all of this, we can talk about everything in the comment section. I hope it's kind of explained nicely, but as well, feel free to ask any kind of questions. We have been seeing more bulky characters here as well, but if you are a fan of manga like me, you see how stylized characters they are. They are more elegant. So the rule of 8 heads. Sometimes it's 8 heads, 7 heads more or less for standardization, but in manga, for example, if it is very realistic, sometimes what they do is they elongate the characters to make them more elegant. Okay, maybe in Bleach, Uryu, for example, or Ichigo, that they are proportional characters. Maybe if you check them, maybe they are more close to 9 heads, for example, or a Slam Dunk. Maybe they are humanized cartoon, but they are more elongated. Manga, for example, has these characteristics where you will see the feet is bigger, the hands are bigger as well, okay? And they have plasticism as well with the expressions of the faces, but different styles, okay? If you like collectibles like me, for example, as well, we have the concept of chibi, and a very easy example it will be to understand very easy is like the pop series with the pop characters that they take any kind of characters like One Piece, Naruto, movies, any kind of movie, Lord of the Rings, and they will do these characters that are like a head like this, okay? And then the body is like small like this, tiny legs, the arms, and they have these round eyes like this, and whatever character is gonna be, in this case I'm gonna try to do like a small Luffy here, okay? So like this, for example, okay? So the thing is, with this we are playing with the concept of sizes, okay? I'm emphasizing the head because it's more cute, because it's more, let's say, playful, and then we want, for example, as well to, this is a extra caricature of the drawing of a kid, okay? So I'm trying to caricaturize this into this, like it's even more caricature, okay? Then there are authors like Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama is the guy who created Dragon Ball, and in Dragon Ball they have 1,000 muscles that you didn't even know that they existed, okay? Obviously as well caricature, but he has other series like Dr. Slump, okay? And we have Arale there, we have other characters in Arale as well, that they are different types of bodies. For example, there is a guy very similar to the Pop characters, that it has like a very massive head, and then his body is very tiny, and then he is like, he having he has the head like a knot, I think it is, like this, okay? And he's very big. So he, next to a normal size human, for example, that the humans in that series are more like this, more square, more cartoonized. You will put this guy next to this, and his head is massive like this, okay? Like this, he's ginormous. And as well, depending on how I want to create the character, not only with the body but with the faces, I will play. If my character is gonna be talking a lot or being very silly with the comments that he's saying, in caricature, in cartoon, I can try to draw the mouth bigger as well, okay? And there is this movie, Baron Munchausen, that he there is like a group of misfits, like a group of heroes with him as well, again, the hero's journey, where, for example, there is a guy who can listen very well from very, very, very far distances. So the guy, for example, has very big ears in that caricature of a movie, in that caricature of a story, okay? So in One Piece, for example, we see this all the time, where the bulky characters, like Hosu, for example, it looks like a diamond, it is shaped like a strong man, it is shaped a little bit like a gorilla as well, that I have a drawing of him here as well, talking about his story and everything. If you wanna watch it, is as well very interesting. But depending on the character, depending on the story, you can play with that. Obviously, you need to limit yourself in a way that my story is gonna allow this, because it is more fantasy, it is more cartoony, yes. Is my story gonna allow this because it's realistic? Maybe not. But then as well you can go into the realm of science fiction as well. Or, for example, if you like movies like Predator, in all the movies they look like very strong humans, because those guys are actually actors. They are wearing this suit and they are recording them, okay? But there is a recent project, animated project done, that I had a commentary as well. I done a commentary here that you can have a look, where they played with this elasticity of the character, this cartoonization of the characters, and they made some of the predators adapted to whatever type of fighting. If this was more like a samurai, ninja topic, my character was gonna be more agile, more small, thinner, able to jump free out there. But the one that I was drawing that day is like a tank, because that's a strong guy. He's, I think, in the part where we are having the story with the Vikings and everything, so he's like a tank. He's a very big guy. So the plasticity, the elasticity with the characters has no limits. The only limits are you are putting yourself with talking about and designing a preview idea of how my character is gonna be. If I'm gonna go for a Frankenstein, like this guy here, Frankenstein type of design, how I'm gonna draw him? How would I like him to look? Or my art director, my creative director, my director of the movie, how does he need me to draw the character for him? It needs to be bulky, or it needs to be thin. It needs to be like round, basing like in a circle, because he's gonna be, I don't know, someone who is gonna be eating all the time, okay? Like there are like a Street Fighter, for example. In Street Fighter, the characters are more realistic, but at the same time, you have this exaggeration. When someone is strong, is very strong, and the shoulders are very big, the arms are very big, the torso is smaller, maybe the legs are smaller. When someone is physically strong like a tank, as well, they will draw it maybe a little bit more fatter, you know, like having more body weight, so it's heavier, so you can't move him, okay? Going into the realm of science fiction as well, or robots, you can play with this. Like in Avatar, for example, you have humans, you know, going to the avatar and everything and interacting with these characters and everything, you know, but what are the humans wearing? Some of them, these mecha armor vehicles that they are like robots, that they are like a little bit like Pacific Rim, a little bit like, you know, Mazinger Z and Power Rangers and everything, that you sit inside and you can move it, okay? And then, because here we are talking about fantasy and science fiction, like a blend of things, the guys creating Avatar, they say, okay, so my tank in human is gonna be like weaponized, it's gonna be mechanical, it's gonna be, yes, like a gorilla, basically, but mechanical. So it is realistic, because you could say, actually, that could be built, and that could be functional within the science fiction. Okay, just looking at the human part, you say, oh, that is not fantasy. That is not a monster, that is not a cartoon character, that is a guy, a military guy, sitting in an armor suit, and it works. Okay, so depending on the project, depending on the character, you will need to do one thing or another. That is something that you do when you are developing a style. If you want to do something called, you are a previs artist, is pre-visualization artist, you are the one designing how it's gonna look, how they can be. Maybe the heads are gonna be bigger, the heads are gonna be smaller, the skin is gonna be yellow, like in The Simpsons, for example, because that is your brand. Like Son Goku, Dragon Ball has the hair, is the brand. Mickey Mouse, the ears are the brand. Why is Mickey Mouse wearing gloves as well? And some of the characters there, most of the characters there are wearing gloves. That this is something that, you know, in the same movie, I think the Goofy movie it is, the one with Max, they actually talk about this, the characters are talking about this, oh my god, why are we wearing gloves, blah, blah, blah. So all of this is trademark. You are doing some details within this fantasy, within this elasticity that you can play with the characters to create a brand. In Dragon Ball, for example, the hair of the Saiyajins, okay, in theory, in lore, in world building in that story, the hair doesn't change. That's why Son Goku always has the same hair. There is a saga where Vegeta has a different hair and then the hair grows, but that is a mistake that is been done in that story because they couldn't have done that, okay? But there are characters that are mixed, like Gohan, for example, that Gohan, the hair is different. But for Goku, for Vegeta, for example, those guys, they should always keep the same design, they should always keep the same hairstyle, because the lore of the story. The story is limiting me as a designer to say, okay, Dragon Ball, Son Goku, always draw the hair, the shape of the hair, the same in normal state, okay? You are not going to give him a haircut and he's going to be now looking like another guy, because that is his type of hair, okay? That is plasticity, not about the body, but about the hair in that aspect, okay? So many different aspects when we are creating a character can be adapted and readapted and remodeled. So today we've been talking a little bit about modification in the bodies, elasticity in the bodies, cartoonization in the bodies, where a character coming from a humanoid type of character base, you can expand all of this and make it look like a tank, like Frankenstein, like Sully in Monsters Inc. You can change as well the size of the head and be more like a chibi character, like a pop character, or like Akira Toriyama character. Then you can play as well with the chest, with the waist, with the arms, and with the emotion of the character, with the story of the character to portray if he's gonna be sad, how he's gonna be more curved, if he's gonna be, you know, joyful, he's gonna be more straight and more powerful, he's gonna be more like Mr. Incredible as well, depending on the state that the character is in specific times of the story. We've been learning about different sizes between, you know, adult and kid, and how you can cartoonize as well, depending on what you need. Okay, for example, if you are a fan as well of Arcane, we have League of Legends Arcane, the series that is amazing, I love it. Harmendinger, that character as well is looking like a chibi. He's not a human, he is his own, there is a specific race for them, but he is looking like an animalistic human, okay? So he will be an anthropomorphic character, because he is like an animal-looking creature that behaves like a human, and is actually the cleverest, or one of the most clever characters in the whole story there. And at the same time, he's chibi as well, okay? So that's how you can as well analyze a character. That's a good exercise that I can give you, that you can just watch any kind of movie that you want. Let's take out the live action, let's take out the ones with actors, like real actors. Take some sort of animation movie, doesn't matter if it is Marvel, Disney classics, DC, any kind of character that you want that is not a human, okay? Like Rocket, for example, that is an animal as well, and see how these things work, okay? Drax in the Marvel movies, or Drax in the comics, how it looks, how Superman is looking in the comic, and how Superman is looking in the live action, okay? Things like this, so you understand the differences in the bodies. Monsters Inc. is a very good movie for shapes and plasticity of characters. There are characters that are round, circles, and always very basic shapes. That's what I'm talking about. Square, strong, round, fat, thinner like this. It can be standard, you know, for a standard body, and then plasticine and modifications for the head. Maybe when someone, like in One Piece, is very, very clever, okay, what do we do in One Piece? We have this kind of head, like this with Vegapunk, and the character is tiny and he's very clever, okay, and the brains are here. This, yes, it is not about mocking someone because the type of body is this or the type of body is that, okay? This is learning process. This is trying to potentiate in the cartoonization the character, okay? So straight away when I'm seeing the character that has this big head, this very long, massive head, you're gonna say, ooh, something about the brain, something about cleverness, something about scientist, maybe, okay? A caricature of a scientist, okay? Something about this guy, something about strength, for example, okay? Monster, scary, okay? Smaller, cute. So if we need to go more into detail with all of these things, we can do more videos. Feel free to ask for more videos regarding this kind of elasticity. We can talk about in other videos as well as we go, because you see that I'm talking about elasticity in the bodies, but we talk a little bit about heads as well. We talk a little bit about mood. We talk a little bit about brainstorming. So I'm trying to show you how everything is connecting here, and by watching one video or another, we are learning slowly all the parts of the process, basically, in how to design your characters and how to start creating your own story as well, okay? Your own story. And I think that's all for today. I'm gonna sign here on the side. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a nice time here today and you learned something. And yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.